For almost a year, without anyone suspecting, I diverted small amounts from the household budget. It wasn't for me. It never was. The money had a clear destination, a man forgotten by the world, someone my husband had discarded as if he were old trash. His name was Otis. That late afternoon, he was waiting for me near the corner grocery store, not on the usual bench, but hidden in the shadow between buildings. When I passed by him, Otis didn't lift his head. He only stepped close enough for his voice to barely be heard. "Tomorrow, don't get into the car with your husband. Take the bus." I kept walking, confused, my heart racing. "It's serious," he insisted. "It's a matter of life or death. You'll understand when you see who will be on that bus." Before I could ask anything, he disappeared. It was just another gray Tuesday, the kind of day that smells like dust, cheap detergent, and routine. Keisha had been working for over 10 years at the Cozy Home Store, one of those small neighborhood shops that sell towels, curtains, and promises of domestic comfort. She was 38, but her reflection in the glass showed someone more tired than her age allowed her to admit. Her hands were rough, with short nails and skin marked by cleaning products and boxes she carried alone. Hands of someone who never had luxury, but also never knew laziness. "Could you check this towel for me?" a regular customer asked. Keisha smiled automatically while carefully folding the fabric. Inside, however, her mind was far away. That was the 18th, the day she set aside $40 from what little was left. For many, nothing. For her, a sacrifice. When the store closed, Keisha didn't go straight home. She put on the old gray coat, bought years earlier, still presentable, and headed to the park. Otis was waiting for her under a dry tree, hunched over his cane. "Mr. Otis," she called softly. He tried to stand, but Keisha motioned for him to stay seated. "Did you bring the medicine?" she asked, placing the envelope in his cold hand. "You shouldn't do this," he murmured. "If Marcos finds out." "He won't." Otis closed his fingers around the envelope as if holding on to his own survival. "You're better than you think," he said. "My God knows that." Keisha only smiled, uncomfortable. She never saw herself as a heroine. She simply remembered who had been kind to her when she needed it most. At home, the atmosphere was strange. Marcos was sitting at the kitchen table, staring at his phone. He hadn't touched dinner. "Everything okay?" Keisha asked. "Sure, just tired." He avoided looking at her. The smell of an unfamiliar cologne hung in the air. "Tomorrow I'm going to Fairview," he said. "Mandatory seminar." Keisha found it odd. Marcos never liked those trips. "Do you want me to drive you to work?" he added, too quickly. She froze. "You want to drive me?" "We're family, aren't we?" she agreed. Trust had always been the pillar of their marriage. That night, Keisha went out to buy milk. As she left the market, a hand grabbed her coat. It was Otis, pale, desperate. "Don't go with him tomorrow," he whispered. "Take the 7:15 bus." "Why?" "Because he knows. He wants to control you." Otis looked toward the apartment window where the light was on. "You need to see it with your own eyes." And he left. The next morning, Keisha lied for the first time in 20 years of marriage. She said her daughter was sick. Marcos didn't question it. When the bus pulled away, Keisha sat in the back, trying to be invisible. That was when she saw the girl. The eyes were Marcos's, the same shape, the same sad shine. And around the child's neck, hanging from a thin chain, was the silver locket Marcos had sworn he'd lost. The ground disappeared beneath her feet. The woman beside the girl called her by name. "Maya!" Fairview revealed everything. The house, the car, Marcos. The laughter Keisha hadn't heard in years. "Daddy!" He lifted her into the air. He kissed the other woman. Keisha understood. What came next was not just betrayal. It was calculation. It was theft. Otis showed the records. Dates, amounts, transfers, money from Jasmine's education, every cent. Keisha felt something die inside her. She didn't cry. She kept everything. When she confronted Marcos, he begged, promised to change. And for a few days, he did. But the truth returned. Cruel in the form of an ultrasound. Another child, another plan, another lie. "You were always convenient," he said. She didn't respond. She told him to leave. And when he threatened her, Keisha realized she was no longer afraid, only dignified. In the garden, digging the soil they wanted to take from her, Keisha heard a voice. 40 years, said Pop Franklin. 40 years I stayed silent. He rested his hand on the tree. And silence destroys more than screams. Keisha lifted her face. For the first time, she was not alone.